Chapter 1. The Dark House on the Hill. My name is Tom. I am 22 years old. Last year, I left the noisy city and moved to a small village in England. The village was quiet and green. There were big fields with yellow flowers, small houses with red roofs, and a tall hill. On the hill was an old house. It was big and dark, with broken windows and a heavy wooden door. The roof looked old, with holes in it. Tall grass grew around the walls. Nobody lived there. People in the village said, "That house is bad. Strange things happen there at night." I needed a home. The old house was cheap, so I bought it. My friend Sarah said, "Tom, don't live there. That house is scary. People hear noises at night." I laughed and said, "It's just an old house. I'm not afraid of noises." Sarah looked worried, but I did not listen. I moved in on a cold, rainy day. The house was big inside. There were many rooms with old chairs, tables, and shelves. The walls were dark wood, and the floors creaked when I walked. The windows were dirty, and the wind made them shake. I cleaned the house, but it still felt cold. At night, I lit candles because the lights were weak. The house smelled old, like dust and wood. The first night, I heard strange noises. The floor sounded like someone was walking. Whoosh. The wind moved the heavy curtains. I looked around, but there was nobody. I said to myself, "Old houses make noises. It's normal." I went to bed, but I felt a little nervous. 3 nights later, I saw something strange. I was in my bedroom, reading a book. The room was dark, but a soft white light came from outside. It was small and bright, like a candle. I went to the window and looked out. The hill was dark. There were no people, no cars, no lights. I thought, maybe my eyes are wrong. I closed the window and went back to bed. The next night, the light came again. It was brighter and moved on the hill, near some trees. My heart beat fast. I wanted to know what it was. I put on my coat, took a flashlight, and went outside into the cold night. The air was wet, and the wind was loud. Chapter 2. The Grave and the Picture. The night was cold. The wind was strong, and the grass was wet. I walked up the hill, following the light. It moved fast, like it was dancing in the air. It went to the trees and stopped. I was a little scared, but I kept walking. My flashlight made a small circle of light on the ground. The trees looked tall and dark, like shadows. Near the trees, I saw a small stone. It was old with green moss on it. There were words on the stone. I used my flashlight to read, Anna, 1800 to 1820. It was a grave. My hands felt cold, not from the wind, but from fear. Who was Anna? Why was her grave here, so close to my house? I looked around, but it was too dark to see more. The air felt heavy, and I heard the wind whisper through the trees. I went back to the house. It was late, and the wind was louder. In the living room, there was an old picture on the wall. It showed a young girl. She had long black hair and big dark eyes. Her face was sad, like she wanted to cry. Under the picture, there was a name, Anna. I looked at her eyes. They were deep, like they could see me. I felt strange, like someone was watching me. The room felt colder, and I heard a soft noise, like a sigh. That night I could not sleep. I thought about Anna. Was she the girl from the grave? Why did I see a light? I heard a noise. Tap tap tap. It came from the window. I looked, but there was only darkness. My heart was fast. I closed my eyes and tried to sleep, but I kept thinking about Anna. The next morning, I went to the village. I found an old man named Mr. Brown. He lived in a small house with many old books and a big chair. I asked him about the house. He looked serious and said, "That house is very old. A girl named Anna lived there long ago. She was kind, but she died when she was 20. People say her spirit is in the house." "Spirit?" I asked. "Like a ghost?" Mr. Brown nodded. "Yes. Some people see a light at night. They say it's Anna. She looks for something she lost." I thanked Mr. Brown and went home. I was not sure about ghosts, but I felt nervous. That night, I saw the light again. It was inside the house, in the living room. I walked slowly to the room. The light was near Anna's picture. It was soft and white, like a small star. Then it was gone. Chapter 3: The Secret Room. I stood in the living room and looked at Anna's picture. Her eyes were big and dark. I felt cold, like someone was behind me. I touched the picture. The wall moved. It made a loud sound, creak. It was a secret door. Behind the door was a small room. It was dark and full of dust. I found an old candle on a table and lit it. The light was weak, but it helped me see. The room was small. There were spider webs on the walls and dust on the floor. In the corner, I saw a wooden box. It was old and heavy, with a rusty lock. I opened it carefully. Inside, there was a letter, a silver necklace, and a small book. The necklace had a heart shape, and it was shiny in the candlelight. The book was a diary. I read the letter first. Said, "My name is Anna. I lived in this house. I loved a boy named James. He gave me this necklace. But he left me and I was sad. I hid my necklace and diary here. If you find them, please keep them safe. I want to rest." I felt sad for Anna. I held the necklace in my hand. It felt cold, but it was beautiful. I opened the diary. It had many pages. Anna wrote about her life. She loved the village and her family. She wrote about James, the boy she loved. He left her to go to sea. She waited for him, but he never came back. Her last words were, "I am sick. I will die soon. I hope my spirit finds peace." I took the necklace and diary to the living room. I put them on a table near Anna's picture. I said, "Anna, I found your things. You can rest now." That night, the house was quiet. I did not see the light. I slept well for the first time in many days. Chapter 4: The Dream of Anna. A few nights later, I had a strange dream. I was in the house, but it was different. The walls were clean, and the windows were bright. A girl stood in the living room. She had long black hair and big dark eyes. It was Anna. She looked at me and smiled. She said, "Thank you, Tom. You found my necklace. But there is one more thing. Find my ring. It is in the garden." I woke up. My heart was fast. Was it just a dream? I went to the garden behind the house. It was small, with tall grass and old flowers. The sun was bright, but the air felt cold. I looked everywhere. Under a big tree, I found a small metal box. It was dirty and rusty. I opened it. Inside was a silver ring with a small blue stone. It was beautiful, and the stone sparkled in the sunlight. I felt happy, but also a little sad for Anna. I took the ring to the living room and put it with the necklace and diary. I said, "Anna, I found your ring. Now you can rest." That night, I slept well again. The house felt warm, not cold. The wind was quiet. I felt happy, but I wanted to know more about Anna. Chapter 5. The Old Woman's Story. The next day, I went to the village again. I wanted to learn more about Anna. I met an old woman named Mrs. Carter. She lived in a small house near the village shop. She had white hair and a kind smile. I told her about Anna, the light, and the things I found. Mrs. Carter said, "I knew Anna's family. Anna was a good girl. She loved to help people. She lived in that house with her mother and father, but they died before her. Anna was alone after that. She often sat by the window, looking at the hill, waiting for someone." I asked, "Why did she die?" Mrs. Carter said, "She was sick. Her heart was weak. She loved a boy named James, but he left her. She was very sad. She died in that house, in her bed." I showed her the ring and necklace. She smiled and said, "The ring was from her mother. The necklace was from James. Anna loved them. She lost the ring in the garden before she died. Maybe she wanted someone to find it." I felt sad for Anna. I said, "I found her things. I put them on her grave." Mrs. Carter nodded. "That's good, Tom. Maybe Anna can rest now." Chapter 6. The Village Library. I also went to the village library. It was a small building with many old books and a big wooden table. A woman named Mrs. Green worked there. She was kind and old with white hair. I told her about Anna, the diary, and the ring. Mrs. Green said, "Anna was famous in the village. She was a good girl. After she died, people saw lights on the hill. They said it was her spirit looking for her lost things." I showed her the diary. She read some pages and smiled. "This is Anna's writing," she said. She loved to write stories. The ring was from her mother. She lost it before she died. Maybe she wanted someone to find it. I asked, "Did Anna have friends?" Mrs. Green said, "Yes, but they moved away after she died. Anna was alone in her last days. She wrote in her diary every day. It helped her feel better. She wrote about the village, the hill, and her dreams." I thanked Mrs. Green and went home. I felt I knew Anna better now. She was a kind girl with a sad life. I wanted her to be happy, even if she was a spirit. Chapter 7. A Warm Home. After that day, the house changed. It was not cold anymore. The windows did not shake. The floors did not creak. The house felt warm and safe, like a real home. I did not see the light again. I did not hear noises. I thought about Anna. Maybe her spirit was happy now. Maybe she found peace. One night, I looked at Anna's picture. Her eyes were the same, but her face looked different. She did not look sad. I smiled and said, "Thank you, Anna. You made this house a home." A few days later, I invited my friends to the house. Sarah and two other friends, Mark and Lucy, came to visit. I told them about Anna, the light, and the things I found. Sarah said, "Tom, that's amazing. You helped Anna. Maybe she was waiting for someone like you." Mark said, "I was scared of this house, but now it feels nice." Lucy looked at Anna's picture and said, "She looks kind. I think she's happy now." I felt good. My friends liked the house. We sat in the living room, drank tea, and talked about the village. The house was warm, and the air felt light. I knew I did the right thing for Anna. I still live in the house. The village people say, "Tom, you are brave. You live in Anna's house." I laugh. I'm not brave. I just wanted a home. Now I have one. The old house is my home, and Anna's story is part of it. Sometimes I sit in the living room and think about her. I hope she is happy somewhere in the light. The end.